Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel. And welcome to this theory slash discussion video. Actually, it's more like a rumor video. This rumor video talking about the brand new Sisters of Battle Exorcist tank and all of its upgrades. I got the big sad from looking at this. The big sad, like, you know, the big one. Not the normal sad that every millennial has, but the big sad. Because my precious Exorcist got nerfed. Really badly. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh no, it's not that bad, Alexis. You need to stop freaking out. It's worse than you think. And here's why. So today we get to preview the brand new stat line, and this comes from the building kit. It's this, but for 40k. These are my Medusae, and I just built up an entire Daughters of Cain army, but I'm still working on them. But when you buy a kit, you get a packet along with it. Typically, it's the instruction booklet, but it also has a universal stat line on the back of it, which talks about everything here. So to go over the stat line, we have movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, attacks, leadership, and save. Then over here we have range, special and type, then we have strength, then we have AP, and then damage. Now, a lot of you are thinking, Alexis, it looks like a normal stat line. Well, let's talk about this. The biggest things in this stat line that have changed is the toughness of the vehicle at T7 now instead of T8, and the amount of wounds by 1. Now, a lot of you are thinking, Alexis, it's literally just lost 1 wound. Stop freaking out. At 12 wounds, the tank was having problems. And I do want to point this out. The tank was having a lot of problems. So, whoops, wrong settings. There we go. At, how to preference this? I think there is a problem happening in Warhammer 40k right now. A problem that a lot of people are missing. A problem that a lot of people haven't yet realized, but I definitely have in most of my games. Tanks and monstrous creatures are becoming completely useless. Now, you're going to be like, that's not true, Alexis, you're dumb. And I'm going to be like, you know what, you're right. And I really hope that it is that. I really hope it is that I am looking too deep into this. The base weapon for a Space Marine at this point, because you're not taking a Tactical Marine, let's throw that out the window. You're taking an Intercessor. That Intercessor has an AP of -1, 2, or 3, depending on the weapon. The damage goes from 1 to 3, depending on the weapon. And actually it goes from 1 to 2, depending on the weapon. But that also means that those 2 damage weapons from a 5-man squad has the power to do 10 damage. 10 damage is taking down a Ridge Runner. A Ridge Runner is a mid-range vehicle for the Genestealer cult, with little to nothing to defend it since they don't have any way of repairing their vehicles. They have no tech marines, no tech priests, no, jury rig repair dude to run out with his 4 arms and just start repairing the thing. GW, get on that, by the way. And that vehicle is dead almost immediately. At toughness 5, a strength 4 weapon is hitting it 4 times on average. And I say this not as a joke. You're going to be re-rolling, 3 on average, with re-rolls, and then you're going to be dealing at least 2 of those bolters going through the vehicle. And then it has no way of actually defending itself aside from its 4+ normal save, which now goes to a 6+. So you're dealing 4 damage to this vehicle and nearly killing it with a 5-man squad. At 2 5-man squads are destroying 1. And now you're thinking, Alexis, of course, that's what they're meant for. Now imagine if you had Eradicators. Eradicators are extremely common in every list now because they're just too overpowered. They're toughness 5 with 3 meltaguns or 3 multi-meltas. And they get to fire their weapons twice if they target the same thing. If they target a Exorcist, for instance, they're dealing on minimum 6 damage to it. If, assuming they hit, and with rerolls they're almost guaranteeing the hits, and with their innate abilities they're probably going to get through 2 of them, so 4 damage guaranteed. And just looking at it, then you have the 2d6 damage on top of that, which averages 6. So you're looking at 10 damage if it's a 3-man squad, and the Exorcist is more points than it. Now, we could fix this by just saying Space Marines need a nerf. They need to go up in points, because even now, I still feel that they do. But at 11 wounds, this tank can actually potentially be one-shotted by a 3-man squad. At 12, it had a better chance of surviving, but now it's being wounded on 3s. Not 4s anymore, where it was toughness 7, but now on 3s. So you're almost guaranteeing this thing to die if it's shot at with any heavy weapon squad. And that's a really, really, really big deal in current 40k, is the fact that this tank can actually be one-shotted. And I wish my camera would focus on me. The T7 is a huge problem right now because every heavy weapon team on average is going to kill this thing in one turn. And that's not even... I guess you could try to miracle dice it to save it once, but it's still taking about 4 damage. And it's going to drop into not its profile yet, so you get a shot with it, but the toughness 7 and 11 wounds makes this thing really, 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 really bad. Now, a lot of you have pointed out in my Discord already, this was strictly to make the Castigator tank a bit better. And I already went over why that tank is bad. It was bad compared to the Exorcist, when the Exorcist was fully powered, when it was T8 with 12 wounds. So now we know the Castigator is only going to be T7 with 11 wounds, which makes it bad. What I'm getting at is, at this point, it almost doesn't feel worth it to even bother with the Sister Battle Tanks if you're going for a competitive format. And I pray to the Emperor that I am missing something. I hope that I am missing something, but looking at these stats, it gets worse the longer we look at it. Now, I know you're saying, Alexis, you're overreacting, but look over at the side. The 3D3 shot that is so famous went from AP -3 to AP -2, which means this tank can't even kill Space Marines. Space Marines can ignore AP -1 and AP -2 with a few abilities. They can then pop Transhuman and make half of your shots miss. And now we don't even get the rerolls because we're not core units. So 3D3 shots, 6 shots, you're hitting 4 times on average. You're wounding now 2 times, and then the Space Marines get normal armor saves against it because they can ignore it. And yes, I am comparing this thing directly to Space Marines because that is the primary army that everyone in a game group plays. There is always a Space Marine player. You can't say the same about a Tau or an Ork player. They are common, but they are not as common as Space Marine players. So, sisters out there, you're going to want to do infantry heavy lists. You're going to want to run rhinos. Maybe at this point, go back to the repressor, because a lot of these tanks are not holding their own, and the repressor still can. It's still a good tank. It is a Legends unit, so you can use it in your day-to-day games, but you can't use it in like tournaments if they don't allow it. So I don't really know where to go from here. Like, I'm going to compare this thing directly to a Retributor squad, like I did with the Castigator, and the Castigator loses out to a Retributor squad. The Retributor squad loses out to the Warsuits. The Warsuits are just going to be better. And honestly, I think that's what it's coming down to. I'm still going to get 3 of the tank, and I still have 3 Exorcists. Actually, I have 9 Exorcists. But still, I'm looking at these vehicles, and I'm just not impressed. Like, at all. The cluster rockets are still pretty decent, anti-horde weapons. But if you're fighting Space Marines, I guess you go for the 3d6 weapons, but you can't even swap out. You have to pick the weapon before the battle. So if you're a good opponent, you pick the weapon before you find out your opponent. So chances are, you're going to switch over from the 3d3 shots to the 3d6 shots, because that on average is 9 shots versus 6. It's wounding on 3s. At least we kept the same strength, but it's AP -1, so they're going to get the cover save. So they're going to have a 3 up against it. It's 2 damage, so potentially could wipe out a whole squad. Which would be cool. I knew Sisters were going to take a huge nerf. They were a little bit too powerful coming into 9th edition, and they weren't Space Marines, so they can't just stay broken the entire time. And I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't know how I feel about this. I feel like they took a tank that I consider to be perfectly balanced because of all of its limitations, its random shots, its toughness, which is why you predominantly took it. My camera keeps on focusing on me. But it just feels like they took a tank that was balanced and we're just like, yeet, garbage can. We don't need to sell that kit. We already sold it. Let's try to sell the new tank. And it feels like that. Or the war suits. And we still have no confirmation on Sisters on bikes, which is what everyone wants. Or Sisters in Terminate armor, which I would have taken over the Castigators or the war suits. And there's still the possibility of a Canoness in war suit, which would be really cool. But chances at this point of GW giving me something that I want for Sisters, expectations, where GW is willing to go. Saying. I'm starting to... My faith is wavering, let's just say. But, I want to preference this. The tank is still good. The tank is still very much usable in a very open play game and is still going to see some tournament play. The 3d6 shots is still extremely good, especially when you have 3 of these things. If you take them in a separate detachment, they're still very good. It's just they're not as good as they were. My opinions, take it with a grain of salt. I'm a little bit salty. I do want to point that out. So I'm not thinking properly, and I'm probably not giving this thing the right review it needs. But overall, I spent $160 on brand new tanks, and I'm kind of just a little heated about that. Because I just bought the 3. So, you know, a little bit heated. A little bit. You know, just a bit. Anyway, guys, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think about this stat sheet. I don't know. It's going to be in my Discord, so if you need a link to it, just join my Discord server. Check it out for yourself. And overall, I just want to thank everybody for joining and everybody who supports me on Patreon. On Patreon, we have exclusive videos. I'm trying to do more. I haven't done one in like a week. I've been a little bit depressed lately. Things have been getting to me. But overall, I am enjoying I'm enjoying doing these update videos, and I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Also, follow me on social media, and if you're super cool, click this bell. It tells you that you are subscribed to me and lets YouTube actually give you my videos. So yeah, as always, NornQueenAlexis. Love you guys. Bye.